sabotage himself. Look, Biden done did it to himself. He didn't do it to nobody else but him. And now you have a whole bunch of people going, oh my God, people of color, especially black people, are now not warming up to Biden anymore. He did it to his own damn self. It is nobody's fault except for his. And here, let me show you. Let me show you something. First off, what we're going to do is we're going to give a shout out to Case Study QB. And we're going to see this clip from him. Thank you so very much. And this came out yesterday. So let's take a look.
So Scranton Joe appears to be losing ground with working class non-white voters as well. It goes back to what we were first talking about, Charlie. In a recent poll, Biden had a mere 16-point lead over President Trump with them. In 2020, 48-point lead. Maybe the drop stems from Democrats increasingly becoming the party of the rich, with wealthy folks like Jaybefaunt Newsom and hoodie addict John Fetterman becoming some of the top faces of the party. A lot of these people are, they're Nepo babies.
The Democrat Party has completely become the party of Wall Street. Wealthy donors, they're completely trapped by wealthy donors. And yet they still like to divide people by race because they're the party of segregation and they're racist. And so they divide the party. But they keep saying like working class blacks or working class Hispanics. The operative thing there isn't blacks or Hispanics. It's working. They're workers. When people work, they don't like the Democrat Party. They don't want to have their taxpayers taken from them and given to people who don't work because they're not working. It doesn't make sense.
They don't want a party focused on sex and climate. They want a party focused on them and their work and their taxes and their life. Charlie Hurt,
exactly.
Always wonderful.
While there were some things that in there that was said that was true, and we'll go back and break it down. It sounds to me like there's not that much self-awareness with some of these people on Fox Business. Let's just go back and let's just analyze just a little bit.
So Scranton Joe appears to be losing ground with working class non-white voters as well. It goes back to what we were first talking about.
It's kind of funny how a lot of times they'll say non-white voters, but at the same time, it's like, could you say black and brown voters? Or, I don't know. Maybe I'm being a little nitpicky here. But it's like, anyway. It's like white's always the default. It's like, anyway, let's go.
Charlie, in a recent poll, Biden had a mere 16-point lead over President Trump with them. In 2020, 48-point lead. Maybe the drop stems from Democrats increasingly becoming the party of the rich, with wealthy folks like Jaybefaunt Newsom and hoodie addict John Fetterman becoming some of the top faces of the party.
But let me ask you this. Now, while it is true that the Democratic Party is losing a lot of support among those of us that are more melanated, to be honest with you, saying that they are the party of Wall Street, saying they're the party of the rich, but at the same time, it's really both parties are party of the rich. There's really no distinction here. So if we're going to talk about the Democratic Party, really, you have to talk about them as being just co-workers of the Republican Party who are really at the behest and being driven by the rich. So, but here's the thing. just like Fox Business, and CNBC, MSNBC, CNN, NBC, CBS. They are all stenographers for the rich. But the thing is that one will cheer for one faction, the other one will cheer for the other faction. So make no mistake about it. Both parties, not one or the other, is for the workers. And the thing is that they have to put in a little dig on the opposite side so that it makes it seem like there's two distinct sides, when in reality, they're all one. Two cheeks on the same butt, and in between them is just shit, basically, right? So that's what it is. So let's, just to get you guys within that, that mind frame, just let you know. That's it. Let's go.
A lot of these people are, they're Nepo babies.
The Democrat Party has completely
chamber pot calling the toilet white. I'm telling you,
completely become the party of Wall Street. Wealthy donors are completely trapped by wealthy donors, and yet they still like to divide people by race because they're the party of segregation and their race.
Oh gosh, they have no. It's like, come on, do you guys actually realize the political realignment did happen? And then anywho,
and so they divide the party, but they keep saying like working class blacks or working class Hispanics. The operative thing there isn't blacks or Hispanics; it's working. They're right. Workers. When people work, they don't like the Democrat Party. They don't want.
We don't like either. No, we don't like either. This is why the greater majority of people who are registered voters are actually independent. We actually don't like either party. And the thing is that for you to think that because here's the thing, there's an implication that, the Democratic Party is not the party of workers, which is true. I agree. But the thing is, this guy is implying that, the Republican parties are the party of workers, when in reality, no, they're not either. The thing is that you got to be able to say both, because the thing is that it's true for both. Okay? Who put tax cuts for the rich back in the early 2000s? It was George W. Bush. Who made the Bush tax cuts permanent? Was it Barack Obama? Then Donald Trump came in. He also made tax cuts for the rich. Then who made Donald Trump's tax cuts permanent? Wasn't it not Joe Biden? Guess what? They all work together. So the thing is that while you can glean some truths from different aspects of corporate media, also remember what they're not telling you. What they're not telling you is that they're trying to give you this red team versus blue team BS. And so they're making it seem like, the Democrats, they're horrible. But then they may not say anything about Republicans, or they may talk about the good things that the Republicans are doing. And then you also have the opposite side. Well, they'll say, oh my God, the Republican Party's terrible, but here's what the Democrats are doing that's so good that you guys just need to wake up and see what's going on. And when in reality, they're both horrible. So always, always, always take what they say with a very big, gigantic block of salt, because they are stenographers for the rich. Remember that. All right, let's continue.
Want to have their taxpayers taken from them and given to people who don't work because they're not working. It doesn't make.
Oh, you mean like the billionaires? The thing is that the billionaires of all stripes, that's what it is. People who don't want to work, yeah. The Nepo babies, the ones that actually vote both Democrat and Republican, yeah. We're sick and tired of them. We're sick and tired of working, and we make all the products, we do all the services, and they just take all the money. We're tired of them.
Makes sense. They don't want a party focused on sex and climate. They want a party focused on them and their work and their taxes and their life.
chamber pot calling the toilet white, because the Republican Party is focused on that too. The only difference is they're on the opposite side, but need I say more? But anyways, yes. So the thing is that there is a massive shift that is on the horizon against people like Joe Biden. And so let me share this article with you guys, because this is going to show that Joe Biden really is slipping in regards to black voters. It's not looking, it's not good. It's not looking good. It's not good for him. It's not good for Biden. It's not good for Biden. He's slipping in the polls. He's falling asleep. And he is in league with China, Xi Jinping. I don't know. Anyway, let me stop. Okay, so Axios says Biden loses ground with working class Black and Latino voters. This was about a week ago. It says one of the main reasons President Biden is struggling in the polls against former President Trump is his glaring underperformance with a constituency that has long been overwhelmingly Democratic. Non-white voters with a college degree. Says why this matters. The Democrats have made major gains with suburban upper middle class voters since Trump's political ascendance. They've been losing some more support among blue collar voters. Just to let you guys know, and a lot, this is no surprise, but most suburban people, most people in the suburbs are white. They're not people that look like me or people who are brown. They don't. So therefore, that's who they're looking out for mostly. They don't want our vote, because if they did, they would actually be looking for it. The thing is that there's been a shift, right? And that shift is more people are living paycheck to paycheck. You have most of the country that cannot afford a $400 emergency. So because of our numbers growing, that means the amount of people that are potential voters is actually dwindling. The voters that they are actually trying to reach out to are dwindling, because there's such a massive shift as far as the wealth disparity goes. And so they don't care about the poor people, because they don't give a shit about what we say. They give a shit about what the rich and affluent people say, but their numbers are getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And so when they see a shift going away from them, truth be told, there's a shift going away from both parties, really. And you're just seeing the small, minute people that are really moving the country in the direction that they want, and it's really us just in the back seat being taken for a tragic ride. It says pundits have focused heavily in recent years on white working class voters who changed their allegiances from former President Obama to Trump and have made a key part of their new GOP coalition. But Democrats have lost significant ground among their non-white counterparts as well, turning their political weakness into a major headache heading to 2024. The slippage is occurring even as Trump, the GOP standard bearer, is facing an unprecedented trifecta of indictments in the run-up to 2024 election. Now, this part says Democrats have lost a significant amount of their non-white counterparts, turning political weakness into a major headache. The thing is that headache is really due to them not doing for Black people what we want. And the whole, well, you guys got to save us. It's like, save you from what? What have you done for me lately? Dun, 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 dun. Ooh, yeah. You haven't done anything for us. The thing is that, and you expect us to save your ass every single time. But in reality, that's not the case. That's not how this works, my friend. Look, here's the thing. Relationships are give and take, right? Give and take. The thing is that we've been given, but we have been taking, but nothing. Well, okay, we've been taking, but the take is given dry with no lube and it's spiked. That's what we've been taking, and we're done taking that. So the thing is that when we're saying, okay, you know what? We're out. Now it's like, oh my God, you guys are going to risk us getting Trump again. And some of us are like, good. Maybe some of y'all will learn. Maybe some people who are not as melanated as the rest of us will actually go to their parties and go, look, I am sick and tired of having these fascists getting put in. Do what the black and brown people want. Do what they want because we're sick and tired of it. But the thing is that the problem is a lot of the people who this benefits, they're affluent. And so you can have Biden, you can have Trump, you can have whoever. But the thing is, as long as they do the bidding of the corporate people, the corporate powers, they really don't care who's there. Now, it says his lead over Trump with this once heavy Democratic constituency is just 16 points. So 49% to 33%. It says in 2020, Biden dominated Trump with these voters winning by an overwhelming 48-point margin, according to analysis by the Democratic data firm Catalyst. It says Obama won non-white working voters by a whopping 67-point margin. So the thing is that this is ultimately just taking for granted black people, for the most part. It says the fact that Biden's political fortunes aren't improving with a healthier economy is a sign that the social and cultural class issues still matter in a lot of our politics. You know, it's funny, and I notice with this point, if you're doing good financially, you don't really give a shit what's going on socially as much. Like, for instance, oh my God, they're taking all of our jobs. If your jobs aren't being taken because of the austerity and policies that both Democrat and Republican administrations that, put in, then you're really not that concerned with people coming into the country because you're like, everything's fine. You're good, right? Because you're not taking your jobs. You're not really concerned about crime if you don't have to worry about people who are committing crimes because of crimes of opportunity and crimes of desperation. Because if you lower the instance of poverty in the area, then the need to commit crimes of opportunity and desperation actually go down, which will mean that your feeling of safety will grow at a commensurate rate. You don't have to worry about any of these different things because ultimately, when you improve the economic situation of people within a given area, then it actually means that you actually have less to worry about. But the problem is that as you continuously grow the poverty and austerity within the given area, that means the crimes, as well as the amount of people who are coming into the country because of our policies that are done both domestically and foreign, they're going to increase the amount of despair that continuously happens in this nation, thus making it so that you have people that are going to be to blame. You're always going to have a scapegoat because you're going to need that scapegoat in order to keep these policies in place, to keep people like Trump and Biden in power, because they have to be tough on crime. They have to focus more on the social issues because we feel like, oh, they must be doing the best that they possibly can, when in reality, they're not doing anything for you. It's sad on his face. So this reminds me of what's really going on, in places like Hawaii. And so here's what Joe Biden said. Hawaii basically is Joe Biden's Katrina. Or his Puerto Rico, whichever one you want to choose. Joe Biden says, as residents of Hawaii mourn the loss of life and devastation taking place across their beautiful home, we mourn with them. No, you don't. He says, like I've said, not only our prayers are with those impacted, but every asset we have will be available to them. Here's the latest. Number one, FEMA's temporary sheltering assistance is now available for residents who are displaced from their homes by the wildfires, allowing survivors to shelter in hotels or motels temporarily as they develop long-term housing plan. This is the part where it's egregious. It's a slap in the face. He says, we laser focus on getting aid to survivors, including critical needs assistance, a one-time $700 payment per household, offering relief during the unimaginably difficult time. We have staff on the ground dedicated to helping survivors navigate the registration process. $700? Your house gets burned down. Your house, your car, you have nothing. And this man says, oh, we're going to give you guys $700 per week, bi-weekly, monthly. What? Monthly? Wait, what does it say? What did he say? One time. One time. Oh, we'll give you guys $700 one time. And according to Outreach from the National Low Income Housing Coalition, Hawaii has the second highest cost of living in the United States. Hawaii, you have to make $41.83 an hour in order to afford a two-bedroom apartment. The second highest behind California. And Joe Biden says, oh, your home, your business, your car, they all got burnt down, and you have absolutely nothing. We're going to give you $700 to offer you relief. That's it. That's all. That's all you get. Joe Biden is treating Hawaiian people just like he's treated black people. And people sit here and wonder, well, why are people suddenly, looking at Joe Biden and saying, no, they don't want him anymore? Are you kidding me right now? What else did he say? He said, we're making sure all residents receive critical information so they can take steps to move forward in their recovery. This includes translating materials into the most common languages spoken on the islands and working closely with trusted community-led organizations. It says, I'm urging residents to apply for FEMA assistance. It says, and for those trying to locate loved ones, Family Assistance Center is open at the Kahalui Community Center. And so he's talking about going with the Red Cross and getting assistance from them. But according to people on the ground, they're not doing much. They're not doing enough. And if you guys are watching me on RBN, I actually covered what was going on in Hawaii, particularly in Maui, about what's going on with the people. And a lot of people are saying it's being severely underreported. The amount of deaths. The fact is that there's not much being done by federal agencies, by the Red Cross, and it's sad what's really going on there. And let me, yeah. And you guys have probably seen this young lady before. She's actually given some of her opinions about and reporting about what's really going on the ground. And so let me share this with you guys. I shared this on RBN. I'm not going to share the entire thing this time, but I'll share some of it with you guys already. Just to let you guys know, this is pretty tearful. So if you guys are, sensitive to that, then viewer discretion advised. But here you go.
If you don't know what's going on in Maui, we are just being completely devastated right now. The last 4 days, I've been non-stop just working around the clock, trying to get supplies for people, trying to get the supplies to the people working at the shelters. It's just, I'm safe and my family is safe and my dogs are safe. Last night they said the death toll is 80. It's not correct. They're not reporting it correctly. I don't know why they're not reporting it correctly. There's hundreds, at least 600, if not thousands of people who are dead in the streets and floating in the ocean. There's over 3,000 homes that have been burned to the ground. There's no help here on the ground. All it is residents pulling together. My whole entire truck is full of supplies right now. Just residents going to the store, going to Walmart, going to Costco, buying as much as they can, driving it straight into Lahaina. I went there last night and there was a fire that started and we got so scared we weren't able to drop off all the supplies. But there was flames that we saw and we were like, we just have to get out of here. It's so awful. The people who were able to evacuate Lahaina and get out, they're at the shelters, and the shelters are just a mess right now. They're so disorganized. We don't have anyone from any organizations helping. I think Red Cross is here, but it's just so unorganized. No one knows what we need. It's awful. And the people that are still in Lahaina that were not able to evacuate, they don't have gas in their cars. They can't leave. Some people are just holed up in their houses waiting for someone to come knock on their door and give them supplies. They don't even know supplies are being distributed at the docks in Lahaina. And it's getting so bad in Lahaina. I never thought this was going to happen, but there's people going into other people's homes trying to steal their stuff, I heard that the people are being held at gunpoint over there.
So the organization there is in disarray, and people are actually being prevented from sending supplies, and they're actually saying that you need to go through FEMA in order to actually get supplies, when in reality the thing is that FEMA's not acting fast enough. And the thing is that you also got to remember we're in the middle of a big ass heat wave. So I mean, you have people out there who are in the sweltering heat. Just because you're on an island doesn't mean that you're not going to be subject to these different type of conditions. This is also some more information. So it says over 2,700 structures were destroyed in Lahaina, Maui, valued at approximately $5.6 billion. Meanwhile, President Joe Biden, with $115 billion since Ukraine, offers just $1.9 million, $700 per household to Lahaina. This is deeply insulting. This is what's going on. And so if people do not realize that this is why people like Joe Biden are losing ground with people of color, especially a lot of Black and brown people, particularly brown people in Hawaii, indigenous Hawaiians, who, first of all, they actually do not want to be part of the United States. They want their kingdom back. They want their independence back. And second of all, you have slaps on the face from people like Joe Biden, who decides that, oh, we're just going to give him $700. So basically, screw you, give him $700. So it's like, And then they go, wait a minute, you guys aren't going to vote for us? Like, hell no, we're not going to vote for you. Why? Because you're actually not doing a damn thing for us. You're giving us crumbs. Just pure 100% crumbs. I saw this and I was just like, holy shit, I need to show this on the show, because this, it's like, no wonder why. It's like, wake the hell up. This is why you're not getting it. You're not getting to vote for people. So this is what's going on. Look at here. This is Ukraine and then Hawaii. Look, Biden sends 200 million. Biden has no comment.
Which politicians look out for minors and not.
Oh, can't be playing that music. So look at this. One side is a foreign country that has people swimming in beaches. Yeah. And so it's not all over Ukraine where people are suffering and dying because of this proxy war. It's primarily on the eastern front, the eastern border of Ukraine where this is happening. But if you go to Lahaina and Maui, this is what's going on. People are literally suffering, having to dive into the ocean in order to not get burned alive. And yet Biden just wants to send up a couple mil. Meanwhile, Ukraine is getting billions and billions of dollars in weapons and aid, and some of those weapons are actually going to Ukraine. Yes, that's right, Nazis. And some people don't want to admit it, yet it has been happening. Even the United States in Congress, people like Ro Khanna have been saying, yeah, back in 2018, yeah, we shouldn't be giving any type of aid to Ukraine right now because there really have, the Azov battalion and other battalions that are Nazis or Nazi adjacent in Ukraine that we don't want to give this money or these weapons to. And yet now we are doing it. Well, not we, the United States government is doing it. And then you got NAFO trolls that are coming in going, oh, how dare you talk about giving Nazis to Ukraine? There's no Nazis there. Meanwhile, you have a bunch of white kids in Ukraine giving out Nazi salutes all over the country. Don't get me started. These people. And so, yeah, there is this juxtaposition between what Biden is doing for the people in his own country and what he's doing for foreign countries like Ukraine. I'll go to that one next. So there's this young lady, and to anybody who is Black especially, I want you guys to see, think about living in the United States. So let's hear what she has to say.
The same waters that our people just died in 3 days ago are the same waters the very next day these visitors, tourists were swimming in. And that says a lot about where their heart and mind is through all of this and where our heart and mind is though. You don't see our people swimming, snorkeling, surfing. Nobody is having fun in tragedy and continuing their lives like nothing has happened. There is two Hawaiis right now. There's the Hawaii we're living in and the Hawaii they're living in, they're visiting in.
So she said there's two Hawaiis. If I remember correctly, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. did a speech about the two Americas. There's an America that a lot of white people, particularly affluent white people, live in, and there's the America that Black people live in. This young lady, this indigenous Hawaiian, spoke of people still visiting and snorkeling in the same waters where people died trying to flee the fires in Lahaina. The juxtaposition, you compare that with our cities and towns as Black people being burned down, being destroyed, and then having lakes put over it. Putting parks like Seneca Village having Central Park put over top of it. in New York. And so this just goes to show it is the same song, different dance. Same things. Now, let me share with you guys this, because some of you guys may remember this. Remember when, I think it was Hurricane Maria that happened, and President Trump went to Puerto Rico, and President Trump went to Puerto Rico. Come on now. And it was terrible. This is from Techstone. Let me share the screen. And what happened with Hurricane Maria? He says it was terrible when Trump didn't help Puerto Rico, but Democrats are fine with Biden not helping Hawaii. Do you get it yet? Performative outrage from tribal association is all they are. They don't give a F about people or equality or justice one bit. And people wonder why Biden isn't doing this. This was shared by Nick of Revolutionary Blackout Network. Thank you so much for this, Nick. The question goes out. They say, Mr. President, any comment on the rising death toll in Maui?
President, any comments on the rising death toll in Maui?
Will you come talk about the Hawaii response, Mr. President?
He said no comment. By the way, after this, he was on the beach. Nick says, so Joe Biden has millions to give to Nazis in Ukraine. Meanwhile, he has no comment about relief efforts in Maui. This is Joe Biden's Hurricane Katrina moment, and it's sick that progressives still support him. Joe Biden has just killed his campaign with this. NATO left, really about to go down with the ship. And so the crazy part is, this is what's going on, is that Joe Biden says no comment in regards to what's going on in one of the states of the United States. And the corporate media is saying, well, death toll is probably around 80-ish. When in reality, you have people on the ground that are saying, no, it's well over 600 people. Way more than what the media is actually reporting. And so now Joe Biden's like, you guys get $700. And so when we black people ask for something, we get crumbs. When brown people, like the Native Hawaiians especially, are asking for relief, they get nothing but crumbs. But then they get like the Pikachu shock face. You mean you're not going to support us? I tell you, the hubris of these people are just insane. And some of y'all, not you guys, but some will sit there and go, oh my God, do you guys want Trump again? I'm telling you right now, we are already in Donald Trump's second term. We're in Ronald Reagan's 11th term. We are. And so for some people to say, well, if Donald Trump gets back in power, guess what? What's going to change? What has actually changed? Let me ask you this. All of you in the chat. Has your bank account gotten better since Joe Biden been in office? Has your bank account been better? Because I can look at my bank account right now, and I'm damn sure close to the red. I mean, my food stamps actually went down. Yes, I'm on food stamps. Just because I got a channel doesn't mean I have that much money. By the way, sign up to my Patreon if you want to support the channel. But that's the thing. Like, I still get food stamps, baby. I can't afford no damn studio. I'm not breaking points. No. I'm not Kyle Kalinske. I ain't got money like that. So the thing is that, look, look, hold up. Leah says, Leah, is it Leah or Leah? I'm sorry if I mispronounce it. No, I was doing better under Trump. That's sad. That's sad. Dwayne says it's gotten a lot worse. Cobra Commanders, wait, your account's closed? Mine's pretty much closed. Rondo says wet shit and firm shit is still shit. Yeah, exactly. This is exactly. Unemployed Scholar said, didn't Trump give us a check? He gave us a bigger check than Biden. He did. And we still suffered, man. Like, we were suffering under Trump, but it's gotten worse. And the thing is that, look, I'm a black man. And a lot of my black male contemporaries, contemporaries are saying, you know what? They're starting to look at Trump a little bit more. They're turning his direction. They're like, my money's been kind of funny for the last 3.5 years. Maybe, just maybe, I might need to go in the direction of Trump. Here's the thing. People are, and the Democrats, they're crazy. They'll go, oh my God, Trump just got a third indictment. Aren't you going to vote against him? We're like, we don't give no shit about no damn indictment. Look, if Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. been arrested, yes, he got an arrest record. If Muhammad Ali got arrested, hell, Dr. Cornel West been arrested. Why do we care about an indictment over taxes? We don't care. Look, what we care about is when you log in on your phone to that bank account and you see that number either close to the red or in the red, that tells you everything you need to know about what's going on, about who's going to be best for you. That tells you. Your bank account is the indicator of who you vote for. If your bank account grew, you're going to vote for the people who made your bank account grow. That means the rich people are going to continuously keep the two parties in place. If your bank account shrunk and you're under the guise of there's two different parties, then you're going to go with the opposite party that make your bank account shrunk. When in reality, our bank accounts are going down. It's just one will keep you level just for a little bit and the other one will bump you down. And it goes like this, boom, 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 boom. And that's the thing. A lot of times people will be under the guy, like for instance, a lot of people's paychecks were probably better under Obama than they were under Trump. But the problem is, guess what? Then a Democrat gets in place. Then they're better under Trump than they are under Biden. Guess what? By the way, Trump is going to win. He just is. That's the way it's going to happen. But once Trump wins, guess what? It's going to be slightly better under Biden than it's going to be under Trump. It's just a step by step down. It's a step down the ladder. And that's how it's always been. Our money went further under Reagan than they do under Biden right now. It's true. Even though Reagan started us off rolling down the hill, as you roll down the hill, you're lower than where you were a couple of minutes ago. That's how it happens. The problem is that he was the one who pushed the boulder. Well, okay. Wasn't really Reagan. Really, it kind of started. Okay, for white people, it started around Nixon-ish era. Kind of started around there. For black people, we've always been going downhill. Austerity, poverty, that's a Tuesday for us. And there's a chunk of a lot of white people that have actually been experiencing this for years and years and years too. So, shout out to all the, all people in Appalachia. Shout out to you guys and the real rednecks. I'm not talking about them fake ass rednecks that try that in a small town. No, I'm talking about the real ones that actually dislike both parties and actually see them for what they are, and they're actually, working class, and they actually want everybody to have, what we need to have. The real rednecks. Shout out to y'all. Y'all see us. But that's the thing, and so a lot of times people just do not give a damn. They don't give a damn. What was I going to share? I was going to share, yeah. So what I'm doing is I'm comparing the way he's treating black people as to how he's treating the Hawaiians. And people are going to continue to keep wondering. You see. All right. So this was out of Politico. It says Biden seeking $40 billion in emergency funds for Ukraine disaster relief. So let's go down to here. Hang on. All right. So it says the cash that President Joe Biden requested formally on Thursday includes more than $24 billion in aid to Ukraine and $12 billion to replenish a dwindling pot of federal disaster relief and $4 billion to address issues at the southern border. So $24 billion to Ukraine and then $12 billion to replenish dwindling pot for disaster relief. Ukraine gets all that money, and we get basically not much of anything at all. Meanwhile, just remember, who was Joe Biden the vice president of when black wealth tanked? How Obama destroyed black wealth. And so if Obama didn't really care about our wealth disparity, what makes you think Biden does? Not much. Meanwhile, you have people like RFK that just he backtracked on qualified immunity, which was really one of the stupidest, idiotic things that you could do, but he did that. And now, what's left? So yeah, it's not looking good for Biden, especially on the front of black and brown people. Now, I'm just going to say this. Nico House, your beard is looking better than mine, bro. It's just, I'm getting a little jelly. But he makes some good points in this too. So let's go. Take it away, Nico.
The devastation and loss of life that we've seen in Maui over the last few days is absolutely unconscionable. But what's even more unconscionable is the government's deplorable response. Now you might be thinking, what are you talking about? Butter hasn't given a response at all. That's exactly what I'm referring to, because when they asked him about the rising death toll in Maui, this man said, no comment, and then chucked up the deuces. And then there's FEMA's response, who thought it's perfectly sufficient to send 250 people to help an island that has a population of over 145,000. And even with the few people that FEMA has sent, there are videos upon videos that are basically saying that FEMA hasn't done shit since they've been there, reminiscent of Katrina. Speaking of Katrina, do y'all remember how much shit the media gave George W. Bush over the way he and the federal government handled Katrina? I'm old enough to remember when the media, all the celebrities, and everybody in the world was like, it's George Bush's fault that his response has not been adequate enough. So all those media outlets, all those celebrities had all that smoke for George H.W. Bush over Katrina, but when it comes to Maui, they're just like Joe Biden. No comment.
Support independent media, please. Please support independent media. I also have some notes that I wrote down that I just wanted to get this out there because I wanted to make sure I hit this point home. The way Joe Biden treats the people in Hawaii, particularly in Maui, and even more targeted Lahaina, is really in lockstep with how he treats Black people. Think about how Bush treated the most Black population, mostly the Black population in New Orleans after Hurricane Katrina. Lahaina is Biden's Katrina, and he'd rather give more funding to Ukraine, $24 billion, than to Hawaii, $12 billion, to assist with a war that can be negotiated to end, but they don't want it to end. Why? Because the billions going to Ukraine are actually going to the military-industrial complex and Zelensky's pockets and less to the citizens, using their military as cannon fodder to fight a proxy war with Russia to ultimately replace Putin with a puppet administration to extract resources out of Russia on behalf of the corporate powers here in the United States. Whereas in Hawaii, the help is needed for the people to rebuild and to get their lives back to good standing. But as we all know, the people don't matter in this system. The Ukrainian people, the Russian people, and the Hawaiian people, it's never about them, never about making them whole. We as Black people know this feeling all too well, and yet many of us are still getting duped into thinking that Biden and the Democrats are our only way to actually getting some semblance of liberation from the jaws of corporate tyranny that tightens its grip around our necks with rising housing, education, food, and healthcare costs, being thrown into an economic disparity just because of the melanin of our skin and the slavery our ancestors were thrust into. Now, there seems to be a panic because many of us are looking at Biden and the Democrats and saying, nah, not this time. We're waking up to realizing that we don't have to choose the lesser of two evils, but we can go after the greater of two or more goods. We're realizing that our own power and coming together to make our demands known. And this is what building Cop City as a contingency measure is keeping us down. The threat of revolution looms and is bubbling up to the surface. Now, in channels like this one, RBN, Indie News Network, Hardlands Media, Savvy Savs, Black Power Media, Due Dissidents, The Left Lens, George Galloway, Black Agenda Report, we're increasing in number and making more headway across multiple platforms. So please make sure to support independent media. Remember this feeling, the forgotten and dejected feeling that you felt under both parties, and leave them behind. Your welfare matters more than party unity. Focus on local and ballot initiatives to stave off the pain of austerity and suppression. Organize with your community and build class consciousness and solidarity among workers and poor people. Provide for each other and make our communities better.